graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
You know, I've been from one side of this fandom to the other. In all that time, I have seen a lot of things. Above all that, there is one thing I am absolutely certain of. I am the villain of this story. You know what time it is, Valhalla? Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki, and with me today is the one, the only, Reina Creole. Good morning, Reina Creole.
Good morning, Loki. Good morning, everyone. So glad to be here today with all of you.
We've got Josh from Project Storytime. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, everyone.
We have got the Rooster in the hen house, Dave Bob.
Hello.
And we have one half of Tag Team Valkyrie Purple Valkyrie.
Morning, all.
Good morning, everyone. And good morning, everyone out there in chat. Mark the Infinitely Tired, Chris Persia, Terry Wilkin, Humor and Waffle, Psychodorp 9, Mexican Iron Man, Adega Outlaw. Good morning, all. And we've got our first super chat of the morning from Pat Stevens Seagal with a $2 Canadian super chat. Please, panel, get this WandaVision taste out of my mouth. We are not talking about WandaVision this morning, but I will. Thank you. We're not talking about WandaVision, though. We're not talking about WandaVision. I haven't seen WandaVision yet. We're not talking about WandaVision. No spoilers.
Are you sure that's WandaVision, not West Virginia?
I did think that for a minute.
I get this West Virginia taste out of my mouth. Is that the mop? Is that the mop you got there? Is that what you want to get the taste out of your mouth?
I've seen WandaVision, but no spoilers coming from me.
Got a little bit of coal dust in his mouth.
West Virginia. Is that what you call her? Is that what you call her? Yeah, I see the mop and the stick. So, anyway. We're talking Stanley Kubrick this morning. And in our Best of Directors series, I figured, man, we got to talk about the guy that did 2001. We got to talk about the guy that did Clockwork Orange. We got to talk about the guy that did Full Metal Jacket, The Shining, and even Eyes Wide Shut, which was his last movie, which suspiciously enough, he passed away 6 days, so
under mysterious
circumstances. Yes, me and Dega talked about that one night on 7 Kinds of Mischief, because Eyes Wide Shut was kind of a love letter to Hollywood of the evil shit Hollywood does. So But let's start off. Let's start off with something earlier in his career. There's a lot of stuff he did. Day of the Flight, Flying Padre, The Seafarers, Killer's Kiss. I've never seen any of these movies, but one I have seen is Spartacus.
Yes. I think probably that's the first one that I remember of his as well.
And what a cast. You've got Kirk Douglas, you've got Gene Simmons, you've got Charles Lawton, you've got this giant cast. And it was huge. It was a huge movie. And from my understanding, it almost didn't get made because Dalton Trumbo had been blacklisted from Hollywood at the time. So the fact that he was allowed to do this was a big thing because he had been pushed out of Hollywood. And one of the people that did that was the Duke. And he got pushed out of Hollywood because he was a socialist. I don't know how many of you know that story or not.
I did not.
I've heard that story, yes. If I remember correctly, he had to write it under a pseudonym.
And they let him on the back end come in before the movie came out, and they actually credited him that the screenplay was written by him because
who would have thought?
Yeah.
Cancel culture even back then.
What was on the other side too? It was the Duke. It was the Duke going after him because, by God, you socialist, you commie.
Oh, it's not. I'm not saying sides. I'm saying, it's been around forever. There's always going to be stuff like that.
Oh yeah. And Mexican Iron Man with $3.99 super chat. 2002, A Mexican Border Crossing Odyssey.
And oh dear.
And thank you so very much, Mexican Iron Man, for that $3.99 super chat. Score!
No!
And Derek McManus, Hollywood blacklist someone? Well, I never.
Yes.
Well, it was. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think this film had a bit of a troubled history anyway, because even the original director, Anthony Mann, got removed after a week of shooting, and Kubrick then took over.
Yeah, it was crazy. It almost didn't get made. Multiple times it almost didn't get made.
Honestly, of all his films, Dr. Strangelove is probably my favorite, other than 2001's a close second, but Dr. Strangelove, that was just such a perfect film. And of course, my old boy Slim Pickens was in there.
Yes.
I'm going to have to go against the grain here probably and say that Dr. Strangelove never really did anything for me. I've watched it probably 3 times, and I just, each time I just don't like it. I don't know why.
I think it's more a product of its time. I grew up during that era, and it was kind of hit close to home back then.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Purple. I've seen it, and it's never really. It's one of those I appreciate it, but it doesn't have the impact for me either.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it, but it hasn't. It didn't make me want to watch it like 2001: A Space Odyssey or Spartacus, which I've never seen all the way through. I always seem to catch bits and pieces of it, and then I'm like, crap, I need to actually sit down and watch Spartacus. But I've heard a lot about Dr. Strangelove. It's not one of his films that makes me wants to sit down and take a look at it.
Did anybody else fill in the blanks for the apes at the beginning of 2001? I mean, you've got like what, 40 minutes 35, 40 minutes of a movie with no dialogue. So me and my friend Bartleby, we would sit there and fill in for the hey, what's that bug on your head? I'm gonna eat it. And we would like, voice the apes because you've got 40 minutes of movie with no dialogue.
No, Loki, I think that was just you.
So hey Bill, what's up with this bone? And it's like
That's getting clipped.
Yeah. I know what's up with this bone.
Goodness. I halfway expected Jane Goodall to walk out, to be honest.
Give me a hug.
Oh shit. But if you guys had to pick one, I mean, I don't even think it'd be 2001 or The Shining, but what would you guys pick?
Full Metal Jacket.
But yeah, Lord Reina Creole, you slam dunked it. That's exactly what I would pick. Is Full Metal Jacket.
And here's why. Even though I'd heard of Kubrick's movies and most of his movies, I'd wound up seeing the edited version, like when it would show up on Saturdays or something like that. But I remember when I had this, everybody had a crappy job in high school pretty much, but from market research, and we would find out about these movies that were coming out. Well, I found out about Full Metal Jacket before it was public. So I'm like, okay, I have to sit down and finally see this movie when it came out. And it just blew my mind. I absolutely loved it. It wasn't like Platoon. Wasn't like Hamburger Hill. It was just amazing. I freaking loved it. Besides, Arlie Ermy, who is freaking amazing in this movie.
Oh, I miss him.
Yeah.
I do too. And when he was cast in Toy Story, I was like, that was just freaking perfect.
Yes.
Sorry, if anybody could do that, it was just perfect casting him as that. But that is without a doubt, hands down, my favorite Stanley Kubrick film.
Actually, I think they had somebody else in mind when they started the movie, and he was kind of like a stand-in, just kind of filling in what it was really like in boot camp, and he did such a good job. That's when Kubrick cast him.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think he was just a military consultant.
Yeah.
On the film, and he was just like, no, the sergeant needs to be more intense. And he was like helping write the dialogue for him, and Kubrick was like, just get in there.
I saw Full Metal Jacket after I saw Men in Black. So the first time I saw Private Pile, I was like, Joe Sergeant, I want sugar and water. Oh man, Vincent
D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio or D'Onofrio or what? Absolutely brilliant as Private Pile. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Army was supposed to only be a consultant. Nah.
For me, I'm as much as I do love Full Metal Jacket, I'm gonna have to go for The Shining.
Oh no shit.
Mainly because it deviates so far from the book, and it I think it's actually better than what Stephen King did, and I know Stephen King absolutely hates that film. He despises The Shining for what Kubrick did, but I think taking the focus away from Danny and putting it on Jack Nicholson's character, I think it made it a much better film.
I haven't read the book. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave Bob.
I was just going to say that's definitely a good one. The Shining is one of the best ones he did make. Yeah, that and like I said, the two other ones, but also A Clockwork Orange was really good too.
Yeah, I've never seen.
Not an easy watch, but
that.
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen A Clockwork Orange all the way through, and I only saw The Shining like a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
Wow.
Really, I'd heard about it. Again, it's one of those films I hadn't got a chance to sit down and see. Finally, sit down and see. So I took out a block of time and I watched The Shining and I watched Doctor Sleep.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah, so I kind of agree. I agree with Purple. If the story was more about Danny, I don't think I would have paid attention as much. But putting the story on Jack Nicholson's character and that descent into madness that we see, that made that film for me. I still like Full Metal Jacket better, but yeah, The Shining blew me away when I saw it.
Pat Steven Seagal with the $2 Canadian super chat. Hey Loki, what's up with this West Virginian bone? I don't know, Pat Steven. I have no idea. What did you think of Dr. Sleep?
Well, one, it's never going to be The Shining.
No.
It was an okay watch. It was an interesting story. Much more violent than I expected to see. I didn't really like that, but it was okay. I mean, to have a follow-up to a movie like The Shining, it didn't do a bad job.
I thought the casting was brilliant. How they cast his mother and Danny. I was like, holy shit!
I did
totally
like
see
Ewan
it.
McGregor. I did like that.
I could totally and the younger when he's young, the job they did casting his mother looking like Shelley Duvall and him. I was and Halloran, even Halloran. I was like,
yeah.
holy shit!
Mhm.
They went all out and
They nailed it.
they incorporated stuff from the book and from Kubrick's movie. I know, we're not going to get too far off of talking Kubrick this morning, but I was amazed. I like that movie. I like Dr. Sleep. I thought that they did an incredible job incorporating both sides of it, incorporating things from his book and incorporating things from the movie and bringing them together and the story they had. And when they go back to the hotel, I was like, holy shit, because the hotel's not there.
That was freaky.
They
Seeing the
blew
hotel
up
again.
Yeah, they blew up the hotel in the original book.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that hotel's not there. So to see them go back to the hotel and see him talk to his dad, the ghost of his dad, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just me geeking out because I like that movie. There are people that fucking hate that movie that are like, no, that's terrible. They really,
it was on its own. On its own, it's pretty good, but an unfair comparison to make it to The Shining, it's kind of not fair since The Shining was the original.
Yeah, I put off watching it for a long time, mainly because I hadn't read the book, and two, I was thinking, it's been such a long time since The Shining came out. Can this film actually be a worthy, sequel? But I was surprised. I enjoyed it. I've got to admit.
I've had a couple of comments here about Clockwork Orange. Fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Malcolm McDowell was amazing. He was. I didn't see Clockwork Orange until probably like 10 years ago. I think I was just in my 30s when I saw Clockwork Orange. It is not something I went out of my way, but because it had Malcolm McDowell in it as Alex, I was like, okay, I've got to see this movie. And brutal. Fucking brutal.
I mean, oh god, the scene where his eyes are just forced open is just so unsettling and creepy. It's brutal. It's not a pleasant watch.
That actually damaged Malcolm McDowell's eyes, if I remember correctly. It scratched the retinas, having to wear that clamp in his eyes.
The
Really?
shit you could get away with back then. And Mark Dambling Tower with his $2.99 super chat. Red rum, red rum, red rum.
You know what? For real, when I was watching The Shining and he wrote that, you see it on the door. When I realized what that was, I started screaming. I'm like, damn, this movie's good.
Murder.
Figure out what the heck he was saying. It's like, what the heck is he talking about? And then you see it written, and it's just like, oh my, oh dear. Okay. Man, I love this flick.
And that kid was so good in it, and he didn't even know that he was in a horror film because of how well Stanley Kubrick looked after him. So he didn't really expose him to anything scary. He just thought he was in a film.
Oh,
Didn't
right.
realize.
Big
Wow.
wheel round, hey. Which was really good cinematography there, I must say.
Yes.
That was fun.
Duval was great in it too.
Oh, yes, she was.
Thomas Gilkey, Loki, did you know the guy who played the manservant in Clockwork Orange was David Prowse, aka the one who did the walking for Darth Vader? I did not realize
I
that.
didn't know.
Neither.
Oh.
I'm gonna look at did they credit him or did they not credit him? I guess they didn't credit him because let me look at full cast. I did not know that. David Prowse, Julian, no shit.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Thank you, Thomas Gilkey. That
Very
is
cool,
amazing.
Huh.
I did not know that. I never realized that.
There's probably a lot of actors that you really know that are in some of those older films that you just don't realize were in there
Mm-hmm.
back before they became famous.
Murder.
But yeah, as Reina Creole was saying, the cinematography that Kubrick was known for is just amazing. I mean, take for example the shot in The Shining where he's riding his little tricycle. He made a kid on his tricycle really unsettling and creepy.
Wow.
It's just a kid on his tricycle. That's all it is. But it's unsettling, and that's because Kubrick was a master at this.
He really was. And that one shot where the blood comes out of the lift had to be done in one take because it couldn't be done again.
Yep.
There from what I understand, there are actors that had a chance to work with him that still kicked themselves that they turned down a role they could have gotten and worked with him, and they kicked themselves that they never got the opportunity to work from. To me that's amazing when you have that kind of talent and that person passes, and then you're just like, for the rest of your life, you're kicking yourself that you had the opportunity to work with this person, you turned it down, and then you don't have the opportunity to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that came out right or if that came out sounding fucked up. I don't know. But to me, that's like I would love to get the chance to work with someone like that, and then you don't. And
yes. I mean,
the thing that always impressed me about him is he always went for a lot of years between movies, later in his career. I mean, 5, 8, 10 years at times, and he still pulled it off. I mean, and everybody, went to watch his movies.
Well, he was also like one of the writers on the films as well, so he took his time, to get the story the way he wanted it to be.
Yeah. But, in today's day and age, if you don't come out with something, every other year, people forget about you. But back then, it was different.
True. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he only had 16 or so feature films, but I think almost all of them are in the top 100.
Mm-hmm.
I think that proves how good a director he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Platus brings up he helped fake the moon landings.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's a rumor that's been circulating for years, especially with The Shining, because apparently there's lots of kind of subtle nods to it put in. He was a master at putting, just clues and things in his films.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone seen the documentary about Shining? That was a really good watch about all the kind of patterns and.
No, I
No.
haven't.
No.
I have.
Let me see what it's called. I think it's the room number from The Shining. That's what the documentary is called. It basically goes into detail about kind of all things that he hid. It talks about, the Apollo 11. It talks about the use of hexagons as a reoccurring theme. It's 2:37. Thank you, Darth Master. Basically, all these little kind of maybe clues that he put in, but maybe not, because Kubrick would never actually talk about it. Did finish the film, that was it.
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you guys get to see it, I'd really recommend it. It was definitely worth a watch, especially if you've only just watched Shining, to kind of compare the two.
Oh, it's going to be something I have to look into.
Chris Persia, the use of hexagons. Yeah, it's all to do with recurring patterns. It's to do, like Badass brought up about the moon landing, because Danny wears a rocket on his jumper, and there's a lot of kind of symbolism that was put into it apparently, and people have kind of picked it apart and tried to decipher what does this mean? Is he just having fun with people because of that Apollo 11 rumor that keeps persisting? Was he actually having a joke with people?
But yeah, that's another one of the more kind of like some of the interesting things that is kind of that really made Kubrick unique, in that he would talk about, sometimes a very serious topic, but he added a humor to it as well. Like, I don't know how he was able to do that so well.
Wow, I'm just looking at this. Not that it means a whole lot, but looks like Doctor Strangelove has the highest rating of any of his films on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Huh. I thought it would have been The Shining.
I think I need to rewatch Doctor Strangelove. I think it's one of those, like I say, I've watched it a couple of times, but it just didn't do anything for me. So
It was really a product of its time. I believe that if you weren't there, if you didn't live in that generation like I did, I mean, I was like 7 years old, and at school we were doing the duck and cover, and this was right around the Cuban Missile Crisis. This was really a film that hit home to a lot of the American people back then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You can't fight here. It's the war room.
Peter Sellers was excellent in it. I will give him that, especially when he played multiple roles.
Still trust Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why I said not that it means a whole lot.
Yeah, low spec Linux laptop. Yeah, 2001's special effects still hold up.
Oh yeah,
They still look great.
well, they spent more on that movie on the special effects than it was unbelievable how expensive that film was to make back then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they built whole moving sets. I mean, the whole set had to move. It was just amazing.
Yeah, there are movies that were made back in the, in the golden and silver age of Hollywood that could not be made today. They would bankrupt Hollywood today. I mean, you're like,
Mhm.
well, what about these movies that are, cost $200 million to make? The what was it? Was it Cleopatra?
Yeah.
Oh
Was that the
yeah,
one that was
huge
like,
budget.
yeah, I mean, you're talking like $1 billion today.
Well, it's like movie The Forbidden Planet. That movie was the most expensive movie I think made up to that point back in the 56, or one of the most, if not the most. Hell, the damn robot back then cost almost 200 grand, and in today's dollars, that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah. No, that's a huge amount of money today.
Mhm.
I think we looked at that when we did the watch party for that. We looked at that,
Mhm.
and I think that was like almost $200 million.
I don't think it was quite that much, but it was up there around, like, I don't know. It was well into the millions for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the special effects, the shot that like I most think of when I think of the special effects from 2001 is it's just the shot of the stewardess going into the where she's like walking up the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that was a moving set that they had to build around her, and the camera moved in in synchronous movements. That had to be outrageously complicated to do, and yet it's actually a pretty simple solution. But it had to be very, very meticulous.
I think there were actually threats during filming of that, that he was spending so much money that they were threatening to shut it down.
According to this, you're talking about the rotating sets. The Ferris wheel that rotates itself costs $750,000.
Damn.
Wow. 69.
It's 1967, right?
Yeah,
$67.
that's insane.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
Do you think it was overly ambitious film? Because a lot of people have seen it, but a lot of people have very mixed feelings about it. Do you think it was ahead of its time, or do you think it was just a story he really wanted to tell? Because it's Arthur C. Clarke, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was, in my opinion, at the time, it was the best space film ever, the most accurate anyway. And even to this day, there's very few films that in space you don't hear sound. Well, in that one, you didn't hear sound in space.
Yeah, I mean, 2001 is not my cup of tea per se, but I get it. I understand why people like it and love it. And I understand what Kubrick was trying to say, and the cinematography. I gotta give it up on how well that movie is filmed. And
it just bored the shit out of a lot of people. It did. It bored the shit out of a lot of people. It wasn't what they were expecting.
That is my biggest complaint. As you said, it takes like 40 minutes before the first words are spoken. Like, you could condense that maybe a little, just ahead a little bit.
If I remember Kubrick, that probably was the condensed version.
Yeah. Yes.
The director's cut's probably 16 hours long.
Yeah.
He was notorious for shot after shot after shot.
Release the Kubrick cut.
Yeah. You look like Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining.
Speaking of The Shining, I did not scold Mark for his $2.99 super check. Give me just a sec.
Blame Loki.
And Mark, this one is just for you, brother. Skull!
There you go.
Mayday. Oh shit! There you go, Mark.
One of the best shots in the movie.
Oh man. But so many good things from 2001, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, Clockwork Orange. He had a way of filming movies. That he had a way with cinematography, and he loved holding the camera. He loved holding the camera. That's one thing that if you look at what he did and look at how he took his shots, he loved staring down the lens of that camera. He really did.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Well, he was a master of cinematography. There's no two ways about it. I don't think there'll be another one that's quite up to his par.
And Hunter Dvorak as Clockwork Orange is the original cyberpunk movie.
Boy, that was a hard movie to watch, but it was a good one.
An Eagle Rider with a $2 super chat. Good morning. Good morning, darlings, from your local evil woman. Good morning.
Good morning.
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 Thank you so very much for that $2 super chat. And here you go. Skol! Oh shit. If you guys could only if yes, I know who you are. Yeah, I wonder if Loki even knows who I am. Yes.
I see her on Twitter a lot.
Well, she's last time I talked to her was on Admiral Doom's one of Admiral Doom's last live streams. So yes, I know who you are. If you could only watch one of these, if you could only pick one out of his work, out of all of his work, what would you like? You had to pick. This is it. That's all you could watch ever. Couldn't watch any of his other movies. What would you pick?
Would we still have other stuff to like help pick us up afterwards?
yeah. Just if you could only
Okay.
pick one of his movies, and that's it. Like, I mean, and if anybody says Eyes Wide Shut, I'm kicking you off this.
AI.
He didn't do AI. Damn it!
It was his idea, though.
It's his idea.
Yeah, that's hard. I got three of them I'm torn between.
Same. So usually I would say The Shining, but I'm gonna say Full Metal Jacket because I think it's a better film.
Yeah, I'll have to say Full Metal Jacket myself.
Yep.
If it was just the one.
Yep, me too.
I would probably go with The Shining because I've never actually seen all the Full Metal Jacket. I've seen most of it, but never sat down and watched it all the way through. So
Darth Hastard.
probably go with The Shining.
And Darth Hastard, that's why you're not on this panel. Oh, just kidding, brother. Full Metal Jacket or 2001. It's going to be Full Metal Jacket because the beginning of 2001 is just like I said. Me and my buddy Bartleby would sit around, act like we were the apes. You know, fill in the dialogue for the apes that was missing. Have you talked to Bob? Not in the last month. No, I haven't. How's he doing? Oh man, he's bad. His mammoth went down the other day. Oh really, man? Poor guy. Just went down right in the middle. Taking him to his mother's. It's absolutely horrible.
Guess
And
what
I
I can
gotta
do with
reach
my
out.
phone?
Oh shit! Of course, that was like 25 years ago. Man.
Those costumes were actually really convincing as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
Surprisingly.
they were pretty good.
Mhm.
I seem to remember reading something about the actors that were doing that. They had to take some kind of lessons to actually do that, to do the thing.
To get into character.
Yeah.
What? There's a guy that taught. Hold on, I'm pretty sure. Give me just a second, because I gotta look this up. I remember watching the Tim Burton film. Give me just a second. Pretty sure it's Paul Giamatti. It was the 2001 Paul Giamatti. Yeah, played Limbo in Planet of the Apes. Now, of course, this was Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, which was universally panned by critics and people who saw it alike. But Paul Giamatti played a character called Limbo, and Paul Giamatti pretty much taught everyone how to be an ape. He's like, no. You got to drag your arms around like this. And when I was watching the making of, because I actually watch bonus discs. I don't know, if that's just me or what, but the way he was teaching them how to do that, I was like, dude, he's a fucking natural. It's like he was born to play in Planet of the Apes. Just dress him up like a damn monkey, and he's in Planet of the Apes, and he's an ape. All you got to do is get somebody like that and have him teach him. Boom, you're done. I can do the sounds. I just can't.
Paul Giamatti teaching people how to act like monkeys. That should be a series.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd
yeah,
watch it.
I would absolutely watch that.
You see that and you're just like, holy shit, he's born to do it. And you're laughing your ass off watching him do it. Yeah, no. And yeah, it works. Absolutely works. So before we've got to talk about it. I know it's the monkey in the room that no one wants to talk about. Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes.
That was a hard film to watch. Another one. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll just come out and say it. That bored the shit out of me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Dave, Bob. I mean, considering what it's about, it really wasn't that interesting. I think it was definitely, as people say, I think it was Kubrick having a dig at Hollywood and kind of trying in a way or not a way to say that, this is what goes on without being too obvious about it. But I think most people saw through it anyway. I don't think either Tom Cruise or was it Nicole Kidman?
Yeah, his wife at the time. They got divorced right after that movie.
I think they were in the process.
Interesting timing.
Yeah.
They got together. I remember they got together on Far and Away, and they got divorced on Eyes Wide Shut. Far and Away was their hey, let's get married, and Eyes Wide Shut was their see ya.
Seems like Eyes Wide Shut was a see ya for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've never read the book that it's based on, so I don't know how close it is. I think I've only ever seen it once, and like I say, considering what it's about, I didn't find it that interesting, I've got to admit.
Yeah, and like I said, it was a big dig at Hollywood
Mhm.
and the lifestyles of Hollywood.
Do you think something like that could be made again now, or do you think
Not from the mainstream.
Mhm.
No, I don't. I'm not real sure how that did. As far as money and everything.
It didn't.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
That was
why.
it didn't.
Yeah, I think when it was released, it kind of perplexed a lot of people. Like they didn't quite know what to make of it. And I think, like you say, it didn't really do very well at the box office. I don't think it hasn't aged particularly well either. And it's kind of a shame that this was his last film. Because as we said right at the beginning, I think he died, 6 days after, in his sleep,
Yeah.
after this
Well,
film was completed.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was released posthumously, so yeah, it was just right after it was completed when he died.
Yeah, the prostitute at the orgy party. I don't even know if I can say that on. I'm actually said that on YouTube. Wow, the prostitute from the orgy party. Clip that, Josh. Who saved Tom Cruise from the cult members? Actually died from drug overdose of her own doing. This was all done to show that it's the cult members could have killed her, but they didn't kill her, and it was done to show that Hollywood doesn't kill you. Hollywood makes you do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that was really, really, really interesting. That's the way they played that off. That's the way they did that. Say what you want about the content of this movie or what it's really about or how it all came together. I said came together talking about an orgy movie.
Oh my.
Oh my. Loki's going down and dirty today. Clip that too. Loki's going down. Yeah.
And you said my David Carradine joke was fucked up?
It was.
Oh, dude, I know how he died.
Oh, I know.
Everybody knows how he died.
That's why I made the joke.
I'm imagining half the chat going, "What is he talking about?" And the other half going, "Damn."
I got purple to swear. I will wear that as a badge of honor.
Yes, you did. I was like, oh, he went there.
Yes, I did.
He did. Damn, he did. Just as a refresher course, by all means, tell that joke again. That way, whoever's here that wasn't here the first time can hear the glory that is that joke.
Oh, how did I word it? David Carradine always looked kind of bored in the Mortal Kombat films. I guess you could say he choked on his performance.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Wow.
Chris Persia, yeah, this is turning into 50 Shades of Loki. 50 Shades of Green, damn it.
Yeah, well, I found this article on the guy that played Moonwalker, Dan Richter on 2001, the one that played the head ape with the bone, and it tells all about how they had to do that. He was actually a mime from London.
Really?
Wrench down! We have a wrench down!
It's okay, Chris. Just cover your ears. It's all right.
Cover your ears. It's all
Earmuffs.
right.
Earmuffs.
We here we have Pudgy's earmuffs. And Pudgy's earmuffs. You won't mind. Trust me. They're small, but they work. They do the job. Kubrick blanket party or a masked ball?
The blanket party.
Take the blanket
I'm ready
party.
to get the crap beat out of me.
Yeah.
I know what we didn't touch upon. His use of themes in all of his films. So the long stare down the camera, the fact that almost all the pivotal scenes in his movies take place in a bathroom. He had reoccurring themes in each of the films that he did.
There were a lot of people that would say your subconscious comes out in what you're doing. That is absolutely evident in how he did his movies. I don't know what subconsciously he had about the bathroom, but
that and little kids on tricycles.
Yes.
Yep.
I think I'm going to have to rewatch some of his films.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Before when I decided to do Kubrick, I watched. I did not watch Eyes Wide Shut. I watched Full Metal Jacket. I watched The Shining. I watched Clockwork Orange, and I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey. Because those are my favorites. I haven't seen Spartacus in a couple of years, but I don't have Spartacus, and it wasn't something I even thought of at the time. Was to go back and watch Spartacus.
No, Spartacus. It's a good film, but it's a very long film.
Yeah.
Would you all agree that he went
3.5 days?
Would you all agree that he went before his time? I would have loved to get more movies out of him. I would have loved to see more of his work. Absolutely.
I'd agree with that.
And I just hate the way he went out on that last film, because that last film was, not a very good film.
Again, the next film also would have been AI, and he had, and Spielberg used basically the script that he had been working on. So I don't know how much better it would have been.
Yeah, I don't know how it could have been much better, because that premise and everything was just Debbie Downer all the way.
Right.
And I think he really, really wanted to do a film about Napoleon, if I remember correctly, because
I believe so. Yeah,
he was fascinated with him.
16. He's got a couple of shorts, Haster. So there's actually 16. You've got Flying Padre, Day of the Fight, Fear and Desire, The Seafarers, Killer's Kiss, The Killing, Pass of Glory, Spartacus, Lolita, Doctor Strangelove. Yeah, he did Lolita. Doctor Strangelove, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut. He's got 16 credits as a director.
And Lolita and Barry Lyndon, I've never seen those. I don't even know what they're about.
That's okay, Dave. Bob, you're too young for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it that way.
Okay.
Any final thoughts before we get out of here about Stanley Kubrick? We'll go around. We'll go Reina Creole and work our way around the room.
He's just such an iconic director. Granted, I was too young to see his older movies when they came out. Still, his name was just one of the greats that was, brought up along with Scorsese as well. So, for the few, like, again, Full Metal Jacket, that's my favorite. He will be one of the greats for directing. A lot of people will compare their ability to direct based on a lot of what Kubrick has done. So definitely do yourself a favor and get a Kubrick film on physical media into your movie collection for sure.
For me, I would say Stanley Kubrick is probably the single bravest director that has ever lived. He was not afraid to say what he wanted to say about any topic he was going to talk about. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes and that led to some of his movies being very uncomfortable. But they were supposed to be. Some of the films have held up, others haven't, and that's fine. But he was not afraid to speak his mind. And we need more directors like that.
I'll just say that he was a visionary and he went before his time, because I would have really liked to have seen some further work from him.
Agreed. I think I'd agree with everything everyone said. He was a visionary. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind, and he wouldn't back down. If there was a story he wanted to tell, he would tell it. Whether or not it would get him in trouble, he didn't care whether the film was going to be particularly successful. He had a story he wanted to tell, and I would have liked to have seen him do more. I think he would still probably be directing if he hadn't died when he did. But I think, like we say, even though he's only got 16 feature-length credits, almost all of them are in the top 100. So that proves how good a director he really is.
I agree. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I think that especially we talked about the shots earlier. We talked about the way he had the camera and the way he worked the camera. I think that he had a way. He just had a way of doing it. He had a way of doing it that was all his own. I brought up earlier that there are actors in Hollywood that dream about working with people and that kick themselves when they turn something down because they're like, shit, I could have worked with this person and I really wanted to. That was a dream. He's one of those directors. And I would have loved to see more. I would have absolutely loved to see more. I think that he went before his time and that he had more to give. And I would have loved to have gotten more. I would have loved to have gotten more movies from him. Absolutely. So thank you all for coming to talk about Stanley Kubrick. Thank you all for everyone in the chat for being here on this Friday. So much happening this weekend. We've got the Valkyries are going to do their WandaVision review. Heiress of Chaos is going to do a WandaVision recap. I know that it's going to be like a WandaVision weekend because of what's going on. Are the Valkyries going to do a whole series review or is it just the episode?
Sunday is going to be episode 8. The following week we are going to do a full season recap. We're going to talk about all of the episodes and we're going to talk about the theories, what worked, what didn't work. So we're going to go into much more detail about the entire series. But Sunday is just going to be our review of episode 9. Sorry, losing track of.
Be early this time.
Reina Creole, what do you got going on this weekend?
Well, let's see, you got a lot going on. So today at 12 o'clock, of course, is the lunch table with my co-host, Fat Steven Seagal. ETAP, also known as the Place to Be Reviews, is going to be our special guest.
Nice.
So you can come by and get to know him. And if I get things working, we're going to have fun doing an EFAP of that Morgan Stanley event where Bob Chapek called Kathleen Kennedy. I think it was like brilliant or amazing or something like that.
Oh God.
Yeah. So we're going to have some fun with video on the show today. And also on Sunday, of course, we actually have a 1-2 punch on Sunday. So on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, special brunch edition of the lunch table, we are going to have the guys from Echo Base are going
Nice.
to be on the show. So that's going to be amazing. Yes, Coach and Nick. Wait till you see the thumbnail. Oh my God, CJ's amazing. So with those guys at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, at 8 p.m. Eastern, welcome to Florida live stream, where we're going to be having fun with Florida Man memes. So it's going to be a great time.
Oh, hell
Rihanna,
yes.
you got to get the music for Iron Man and self-contemplation, Mexican Iron Man and self-contemplation.
Oh shit. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm kind of juggling what we're going to do next Friday. I know we're going to do another best of directors. I don't know. I was looking at John Singleton, but I'm not like 100% sure.
Ed Wood.
But well, I was looking at John Singleton. I was like, man, look, Boys in the Hood, Shaft, Fast and Furious. You've got so many cool movies. And then TV. He did Empire, American Crime Story, Rebel. I'm just like, man, I don't know. But Shaft alone. I mean, you got Samuel Jackson, Shaft. You one bad mother. Yeah, that alone almost sends.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, shut your mouth. Cinches the deal for me. So we will catch you guys next week. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thank you, panel, so very much for being here. Huge weekend coming up with so many streams. You can't catch them all, but I'm going to try. Everyone have a great Friday, a great weekend, and I will catch you all next Monday. Have a great one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification